Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? You're a little quiet. Let me see if I can turn you up some. Hello? Can you hear me? All right. Anyways, while Alex figures out his audio, we're
Okay,
gonna
cool.
get in the game here.
All right, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool.
Did you find the game? It's the Stark Mirror.
Should I just go to Twitch or are you going to screen share?
No, you can just join the game spectating, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. If you want to just type the password in the chat for me.
There is no password.
Oh, okay.
If you want to like move your mic a little bit closer to your mouth or something, you're still a little quiet. I have you at max volume.
How's that?
That's better. There we go.
Alrighty.
So mirrors in this game are not as bad, right? Because of the not true mirrors, right? Because the agendas are different.
Right, I mean, it's quite possible that they won't really even function as mirrors at all, depending on the lists. So this is Spain versus
Netherlands.
Netherlands. Okay, great. I'm just going to pull up their lists so that I can reference them.
Yeah, I have them both up right now. Yeah, looks like Chris is playing. Oh, Chris is playing Reigns. Okay. So Netherlands is playing Reigns then, and then Spain is playing Fealty.
Alrighty.
So opens barring versus at the gates.
That's a pretty interesting open.
It looks like his opening plots are like potentially just. It's like mostly barring air and late summer feast, are like the three that I
Sure.
would see him open normally. We see a Rikon, which is a little bit unfortunate after your opponent has fired off there at the gates,
Right.
and Bodyguard on Sansa. Oh right. Okay, but both players have taken Wyman as their restricted card. So poor Stark. We're not gonna see Skagos, Mira, or Ward in these games.
I do think it's pretty contextual, but in a vacuum, I think Wyman is the correct choice usually.
That's fair. He just like has too much value.
Right. And without Skagos and Wyman, Mira has lost a lot of flexibility. I think Mira is obviously very powerful, but without Wyman, without Skagos, I don't think she's nearly as good.
Makes a lot of sense.
Now, do we think that Jay Valdez was protecting against something in particular with this barring? Sometimes this does seem like it's obviously a Direwolves based deck. I'm not
I have
seeing.
not seen a Dire Wolves based deck, so this should be interesting.
They're not very common, so
All right, let me
shouldn't
read
feel
some.
bad
Let me
about
read
that.
some of these cards. Roman Wolfpack. Oh,
I'm
since
not
just like a
seeing the
huge intimidate guy.
right. I'm not seeing the location that gives direwolves the ability to ambush. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the line with the barring over either the other two were. I suppose didn't want to
Does the barring hurt
sacrifice.
does the barring hurt the fealty player? Like maybe you wanna barring now so you don't have to later when it could hurt you.
Yeah, I doubt it. I'll have to look at this
Yeah,
list,
I'm
but
looking real quick. It doesn't look like it. I guess it like hurts your she bears, which could which is like the only consideration, I guess.
sure. Suppose just didn't want to sacrifice the Sansa. I'm assuming I missed the setups, but I'm assuming Sansa was set up.
Yeah.
So just
So the setup. Yeah. The setup
not wanting to
was
sacrifice
Sansa,
the
Last Hearth Scouts, the Northern Armory, and Rose Road versus the Roaming Wolfpack, Rickon, or just Roaming Wolfpack and Rickon.
right.
So we see I am no one on Sansa probably.
And that's a pretty classic play. So didn't want to heir
Oh,
to the
oh,
throne.
oh, wait, his bodyguard got
It,
unattached.
yeah, so it loses all faction abilities and traits. So it loses
Oh, it loses lady.
the lady
Interesting.
trait. Yeah,
That's like a like obviously I
bit
am
of
no one is a really sick card like value, right? But like definitely easy to forget that portion.
yeah, a bit of a nombo there. If they were just looking to I mean, it looks like the bodyguards just came down as some sort of means of claim soak, because there's also a bodyguard on the Rickon.
Yeah.
Um, you could have just double bodyguarded the Rickon, I suppose, if you really need. But I'm not really sure I understand that
I guess like you could have Rickon
decision.
hold the bodyguards and then use them as claim soak as needed, and if you sack the Rickon, you just get your bodyguards back.
Right.
So we saw Winter is coming to discard 2 cards. Discards another Roaming Wolfpack and a No Surprises.
Yeah. No surprises. Probably not going to be super strong in this game. There is a fairly large event package out of both of these decks.
Yeah, both are playing 8.
Large, yeah, which is large for Stark.
Oh, okay. So this person is who's playing the Direwolves is using Taste for Flesh as like the I guess the payoff.
Right.
This is interesting. A lot of this. I mean, Direwolves are cool, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, I have no idea if this deck was at all influenced by the Stark Reigns deck of a few years ago that was popularized by Sam Bratz. But he also played a Stark Reigns deck that was centered around Nymeria and just large intimidate direwolves that you
So
can give intrigue
Chris sends an
icons.
Arya on like a chump intrigue. Like you're trading this power challenge for a card to your opponent. I don't know if that's always worth it, but at least you're getting a challenge through. And J Valdez wins with 4 gold sitting in your pool. Probably not where you want to be.
No, that doesn't seem the most efficient use of your economy.
Yeah, I find it really interesting that he just didn't want to buy, or maybe he just like didn't have anything else to buy. I guess I don't know.
Also, already on 3 cards after 1 turn, which
Yeah, 3
is
versus 5.
not
The
great.
double intrigue claim definitely hurts. We could see Wildfire Assault, or yeah, from Fealty we could see Wildfire Assault here. Not like super impactful, but it doesn't hurt you.
It is notably their only reset,
So
which
maybe you have to hold
is
it.
it seems like a little early to do that just to get just get a Rickon and Arya or Rickon and Winterfell Killmaster.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's gonna get Winterfell, Kennelmaster, and Arya.
Saving the Rickon for the eventual heir to the Iron Throne,
Yeah, that's
potentially.
what it seems like.
Not a lot of ways to refill in the Reigns deck outside of Wyman. But Wyman, a big econ play like late summer feast could indicate that Wyman's coming here.
That makes sense. So yeah, so here's the She-Bearer. So I guess maybe if you had like multiple She-Bearers, or just like, oh, Alisane grabs ice. Another Northern Armory. Pretty solid board here from Jay Valdés.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Also, notably low on resources in hand, but one I am no one could solve that problem. And here we are with the Wyman, as
yeah.
expected, coming from the Reigns player. Um,
Need to be careful though, because this ice could spell his doom.
Absolutely.
So we see Shaggy Dog coming down to give Rickon some power, some +2 and a military icon.
Sure.
Now we just need Maester Lewin to give him pillage. I think that was like my favorite interaction. I was like looking through the cards and I'm like, oh cool, I can give Rickon pillage. You say?
Does look like if there isn't a trick in hand for the fealty player, that um, Chrissy will have them matched in the military challenge, if I've done my math correctly.
Is it? Because Alisane stealths the roaming
Oh,
wolf pack.
right. Alisane has stealth. Yeah, never mind.
So you stealth the roaming wolf pack, or you
Yeah,
can
this
stealth. You can
seems
stealth something smaller if you math it out properly. Yeah.
right.
So has
Yeah.
stealth something smaller.
So it's a pretty I mean, I guess they're priced into to basically trading the Wyman in for a few cards, but this seems pretty dicey here.
Yeah, like because you went second, right? So marshaling Wyman into with no protection against ice
Right.
is probably a bit loose. We'll see how Christie wants to handle this line. If you just want to start cashing in these characters for cards. So the Reigns list is playing no reset also outside of Wildfire Assault.
Mm-hmm.
And losing your Wyman here is definitely going to make it hard to trigger Reigns. Doesn't cash in anyone. Wyman just bites the dust.
That's pretty rough.
Probably claim Rickon here.
If you
Nope, claim
Yeah, I
Shaggy
think
Dog.
if you're gonna claim Rickon, you're
Oh,
definitely just blocking, but
no,
defending
Rickon got
rather.
stealthed.
Rickon did get stealth though,
But
indeed.
I guess you
Yeah.
wouldn't block then if you were gonna claim Rickon.
No, it seems like they're in a bit of a bind here. One of their ways back into this game would be airing into something decent, but with the Rickon
Well, the
on
Reigns
their
player doesn't
opponent's side
have
of the
air.
board. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm getting these lists mixed
The
up.
the Reigns player has all the wolf stuff. They have time for wolves. Uh, I've never seen this one. Wardens of the North during a challenge.
Yeah, it hasn't
Interesting.
been seeing a lot of play recently. It used to be kind of a Stark staple.
We could see a political disaster next turn, but being this behind on board is pretty tough.
And with their only reset stuck in their Reigns deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big point of contention on the American team whether decks should just sort of unilaterally include resets because of the aspect of the open lists, to sort of, you know, having the knowledge whether or not your opponent has the ability to reset or not really will dictate how your opponents will play. And if you just don't have one, the board states can get pretty wide pretty quickly.
Yeah. I've noticed there's just been some like when the resets are done, like the boards just become enormous. Unless you have like just like multiple, like against Targ for instance, like that doesn't usually happen because of burn and like Drogo and stuff. But in matchups like this, the boards just kind of grow and grow and grow.
Hmm.
So Christy loses the power challenge. Or sorry. Christy wins the power challenge, which gives Valdés a card. So it's really tough. Like you're winning these challenges, but like giving your opponent cards right now when you're already behind is not where you want to be.
Yeah, this turn just has not gone Chrissy's way in any aspect. Doesn't want to give him even one more.
One more card wins, so just takes Dom.
Yeah.
You could air here if you wanted, if you were Valdés, and then if you get Rickon, you can Rickon their Rickon. Louis in chat saying, "Who is casting? I can't recognize this soft, sensual voice."
I'm not sure who he's referring to.
I'm pretty sure he's referring to you because no one has ever told me my voice was soft or sensual. I have Alex Black here, co-casting with me, being much smarter at this game than I am.
So what do we think the Reigns player is going to do here? I think Time for Wolves
It's like Time
is
for Wolves or PD, right?
pretty okay. You could go get Summer and rebuy like Arya Stark.
It's interesting that you're playing 2-cost Arya with no reset, right? Like, isn't this Arya usually used to set up Valar?
Right. Yeah, it's very strange. No reset, no targeted removal as far as I can tell. I mean, Taste for Flesh is sort of like semi-targeted. Goes instead for Withering Cold.
What does Withering Cold do for you in a spot like this?
Well, it certainly isn't going to help you get back into the game. Thankfully for Chrissy, the power totals are at parity, and the board states aren't actually that unbalanced either.
This
So
late
could
summer
just
feast could be really big.
right,
Just to let us feed you some cards. Like if you're getting pummeled in these challenges, getting
right.
cards is good.
Yeah, the fact that you say that I think really speaks to just sort of the odd like duality of Late Summer Feast. I really don't love the plot. Um,
It's like
but
this and Pentosi are the two
right,
big
I've seen
econ
a
ones,
lot
right?
of copies of it so far.
Man, this Wyman right now is so big for J Valdez.
Yeah.
Just cash in all these chuds. I wonder what you get with the Bear Island Scout here. Oh, it just grabs another Bear Island Scout. And we see Fast Eddie come down
Yep.
with
And
an old gate cheese.
this completely is this play is completely predicated on the fact that Jay Valdez assumes probably correctly that Chrissy will not be triggering Reigns anytime soon.
Yeah, basically. I would probably cash in my Northern Armory and my old gate this turn.
Absolutely.
Precursing a potential political disaster. So we'll probably see what Eddie and Allison come through here on this military challenge. Oh, we sense She-Bear and Allison. Makes sense, She-Bear only has the single icon.
And with stealth, you're guaranteeing you're winning the military challenge regardless.
Yeah, you can then cash in the She-Bear for a card and a stand with Wyman.
Mm-hmm. I would be wary of making all three challenges here, though, as the Late Summer Feast. Feeding your opponent can be troublesome and sort of give them an out. Whereas right now, it seems like things are looking pretty dire.
So would you just not make your intrigue challenge here? Because I assume you want to make your power challenge to trigger Eddard, right? Or I guess if you do that, then the roaming wolf pack beats you on mill. Yeah,
Do you really even care?
probably not, right? It's still a Wyman trigger.
Right. I mean, the place where you have to be careful is when you start defending military challenges against this Reigns deck because it has the Taste for Flesh.
Oh, true.
So unopposed challenges, as far as I can tell, basically worst case scenario, your opponent plays Winter is Coming, but you have plenty of soak for that. But if you start just sort of like dinking around and chump blocking or trying to make weird blocks, you could get in trouble there.
So just send Wyman and Eddard here on a power challenge, and then finish your challenges probably.
Seems fine to me.
Because yeah, that's trades what 1, 2, 3 power for, and then if Cat doesn't block, then it's 4 power for a card.
So I had been missing something here. How far off from a range trigger are we? 913. So you might actually, if you are thinking to Chrissy's challenges, they still can't quite get the range trigger with Nymeria bringing in Roaming Wolfpack.
Oh right, because this thing can make something participate.
Right. So you can make the Intrigue challenge with Catelyn, kneel the Nymeria and the Roaming Wolfpack to have them both participate as well. Oh, actually, no, excuse me. That is enough because Roaming Wolfpack gives +2 to each Nymeria and Roaming Wolfpack. So that would be enough to trigger Reigns.
Oh right,
So
so it's 4, 10,
we actually will be getting a wildfire here, I believe.
14,
So
17. Yes, so
in
17 to 9.
in that case, J Valdez needs to be cashing these Wyman triggers in before the Intrigue challenge is resolved.
Because he needs to do it while Cat's not attacking, right? Oh, he just
Correct.
initiates an Intrigue challenge.
That makes sense. I mean, you can't stop it.
Just
Coming
start
back.
cashing in. Oh, he does have Wildfire, Richard. Chris definitely has Wildfire.
And so this way, I mean, maybe you're baiting your opponent. Your opponent doesn't see that they can trigger Reigns and they make a block or something silly here, but yeah, definitely can't win. Your opponent has 9 + 8, has 17 Intrigue on the way back if they want.
Yeah, see, this makes a little bit more sense. I was trying to figure out why, how Stark was going to trigger Reigns. Based on my experience playing them,
Oh
they
wow! See,
wild
look at
blocks.
this. This seems like a huge misplay.
Maybe Chris just doesn't see the line to trigger Reigns. Oh, he's gonna trigger on defense.
Yeah, that seems fine too.
Oh, no, this is sick actually because you can't Wyman to sack out your board here.
Yep. No, this is actually perfect.
This
We're
is
done.
this is way better. and all these characters that are gonna die right now aren't gonna be able to trigger Wyman.
Right. I mean,
So obviously you keep Wyman and
yeah,
Eddard.
Yeah, this is actually a huge. This really is going to bring parity back. I assume you keep Eddard, Wyman, and Alisane.
That would make sense. You get your bodyguard back too.
You get the bodyguard back. You're really not protecting from anything with this Rickon.
Maybe you keep Sansa instead of Alisane because Summer can pick up Alisane and can't pick up Sansa.
That's a good point.
Oh wait, no, Sansa's gonna become like no strength though because all your characters are about to die.
That's true.
She will gain insight though, so edges.
Notably, no Time for Wolves in this Fealty
Interesting
list.
that he keeps Rickon. What?
Yeah.
What ambush character would he be afraid of? Like obviously, you'd be afraid of Millclaim basically, right?
Right.
By doing this, is there even an ambush character?
There isn't.
So I think getting my bodyguard back is better, right? Notably, Withering Cold is no longer available. Is no longer there, so you don't have to worry about standing anybody.
Right.
Maybe you were supposed to cash in your Northern Armory to win Dom there because you are expecting a political disaster.
Yeah, I suppose if you're getting political disaster, you're just keeping the Rose Road and the standing armory, and it's kind of all the same, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you could consider if you had stood for Dom, you could keep the 2 limiteds, and then your Nothing Burns doesn't hurt you as bad. That's another reason to get rid of the bodyguard here.
So big misplay from Jay Valdez. Should not have initiated the intrigue challenge. Should have just cashed in. I will say though, with only 5 reserve, it wasn't like they were really getting a bunch more value.
It's
So
basically looting, right?
they keep the Rickon because they're going to air here.
Oh, that
You
makes
can't
sense. You get your
and you
bodyguard
can't
back this way, and
right,
then
and
you
you
get
can't
Fat Cat.
you could air with the Elisane all the same, but you have to discard an extra card at the end of your turn because the bodyguard's now back in your hand. So I think that was actually probably the correct play. Sees cat, which seems like it was problematic for the Reigns player, especially with them being at 9 power here. They could close the game out pretty quickly. Problem I can see in this game is that there's just really no way for them to get Catelyn Stark off the board.
Yeah,
Big cat.
that makes sense.
It just seems like Cat's gonna close the game out.
See a dupe on Cat. Oh, we see Rob. Yeah, and this Bear Island Scout's perfect. Chud for Cat picks up a She-Bear too. Yeah, the cards for J Valdez were just like too many. Where even after the reset, the board is just still too immense.
Right.
Interesting that you just Marshall Rickon there instead of playing the She-Bear plus the Rickon. Because if you have more characters in play, you could win. If you don't like win this turn, you can win in plot phase.
It's definitely possible that they've got some events they want to
Oh
play in
right. I
combos.
forgot that both players are playing multiple events.
So what else do they have in their Reigns package here? So they have Red Wedding, but unfortunately the Dupe's Cat's going to make it pretty difficult for that to happen.
Probably just make you doing your military challenge with your 3 military icons. That's 12, and then if because roaming wolfpack only works on offense, right? Yeah. Then you get your claim, you get which will probably be the dupe Nymeria, but then you get your all your renown triggers, and then you can stand and then probably maybe kill on a power challenge. Oh, I'm sorry, Chrissy's first player.
Interesting. So North remembers here from Jay Valdez means that Chrissy either has to sacrifice a character that's making a challenge, because I really don't see them sacrificing any of the characters that are standing, or their only piece of econ. I think it might be pretty irrelevant though, because I'm not sure we're getting to another turn. We have 2 characters in play with Renown, one that gives an extra power, plus you have Catelyn.
So we see North remembers come out, which makes both players sacrifice a character or location. We see we see the Gates of the Moon bite the dust.
Right.
And J Valdez sacks a Hearttree Grove.
Yeah, and if this gets to next turn, Jay Valdez just flips return to the fields, triggering Catelyn probably to close the game out.
Oh, you don't even need
But
to
I'm
flip
not
return, right? You can just use Wyman.
right. Exactly. Yeah, I don't see this. I really don't see this getting to another turn.
Does this defense make sense? If you kneel Nymeria, you can trigger Reigns. What does triggering Reigns do?
It doesn't buy you a lot here. You could theoretically flip into Red Wedding and try to sneak another challenge through and kill maybe one of Wyman, Eddard, or Rob. The problem is winning a military or a power challenge against this board. So you could put Nymeria and roaming Wolfpack in, or you could, because of the plot, you can just put the roaming Wolfpack in. This gets you to a range trigger, and it kneels out one of the 5 strength characters with Intimidate.
Oh right. Does any of that matter though? Because you have Rob. I guess it stops your Rob trigger on offense, right? Where you can get double Rob and Eder triggers.
I mean, you have to try to do something here.
Yeah, I agree for sure. So Wyman sacks Rickon during the challenge.
Right. So this will prevent the range trigger by putting an extra power on Catelyn.
Oh sure, that's smart.
Now
You also protect
Chrissy
Rob
could
from
still,
Intimidate.
right. Chrissy could still put another character into the challenge with their plot or with Nymeria, which they're clearly thinking about right here. Yeah, it's a pretty tough spot. So now guaranteeing the range trigger by putting Catelyn to the challenge.
What does this? What plot right now helps you though? Like, are we going for Red Wedding? Like, I don't think you have the force now to.
You almost certainly cannot win. Well, they might be able to win a military challenge here. So they use Bran Stark. Okay, so no surprises is discarded.
Flips power behind the throne.
Right.
So like you couldn't win military or power because Northern Armory can stand a character, and then you can always sack the Bear Island Scout to trigger Rob.
Right.
Neil's Eddard with roaming Wolfpack.
You know, I'm not actually sure that's true. You couldn't have won a challenge. You can stand the roaming Wolfpack with Bran, and then you make a big 13 strength military challenge, and that actually gets past.
Oh sure, yeah, okay. I forgot that Bran could stand the roaming Wolfpack.
That's not what they're doing yet. I mean, they could still put the Nymeria into the challenge.
So this is just a defense with your Bear Island Scout, and then you trigger Rob probably. Oh, maybe he's just gonna use the dupe then on Cat as this claim soak. Which is fine, cause then you can Northern Armory Eddard.
I think you just defend with the Rob, lose the challenge, kill the Bear Island Scout, and stand your team, triggering your Catelyn again.
Sure, that works too.
I don't really know that that power behind the throne was a winning line. I think your only chance for winning was flipping Red Wedding and hoping that your opponent makes some mistakes.
That's fair.
It's not often your opponent forgets to trigger Rob in an Iron Throne game. Probably happens more often in real life. So it goes unopposed. Choose the cat dupe. Okay. I guess you have the Rob stand on demand with the Wyman trigger.
Yeah.
If I'm Jay Valdés, I just want to close this game out this turn if I can.
What is the
I mean,
easiest? Okay, so this is the easiest way to do it, right? So you use Northern Armory to stand Eddard. You do your power challenge with Eddard and Wyman. That's and then you sack your Bear Allen Scout to stand everyone, and then you can get another Eddard trigger.
yeah, there should be
There's just like
quite a few.
a million power in play right now for Jay
There should be quite
Valdés.
a few ways to close this game out. So we're gonna stand the Roaming Wolf Pack. We're gonna make a last ditch power challenge, presumably. But the problem is the Valdés can just stand their entire board after all this is said and done.
Yeah, there's just like too much passive power in play right now for Jay Valdés. So like it's just super hard for Chrissy to find a line that doesn't have him losing this turn.
Do we have a second game lined up after
Yeah.
this?
It's not for a little bit of time though. Wilco's game is coming up, and I know a lot of people wanted to see that game. Wilco's game should be. Wilco's game is at 5, so in 30 minutes.
That's not too bad.
So just a short break. That game will be Lannister versus the Mystery Knight, and the Mystery Knight for Spain is playing Night's Watch Wars, so Builders, I believe. Yeah. So we have HRD Lanny versus Builders.
HRD Lannister.
I'm not sure what location.
Let's find out.
Is it HRD Bowels of Casterly Rock?
It does appear to be.
Because yeah, HRD and Alchemist Guild Hall does not seem very good.
Yeah.
So it's like a Shadows deck that just like always starts with Bowels. I don't know. That's kind of cool.
That's an interesting take.
Like if Bowels is your most powerful card and you get to start the game with it, and you just trigger it every phase, every turn. Like if you maximize that, that's probably what the line is. All right, so here comes
So it looks like the game has ended. I know we didn't really narrate.
Yeah, I apologize. It was just stand Rob, do your challenges and then win.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily us trying to be mean. We just kind of saw what was happening.
Sure. So do we think that there's a way that Chrissy could have played that game differently? I mean, obviously the wildfire, it seemed like it had to happen, but it's possible maybe even then it was
I
early.
think marshaling Wyman with no protection into face up ice was the
Yeah.
beginning.
Onboard ice seems like a big mistake.
I think that was I think that was definitely the issue with him falling behind, right? Like that was the start of where you fall behind.
So let's say your alternative is just not playing anything, and you sort of are wasting your big econ plot. It seems better to just not play anything, right?
You don't necessarily have to play nothing, right? But like you just play something else that's maybe a little bit juicy, but it's not Wyman, right? Like Wyman is enough
Right.
value by himself that he can kind of pull you out of basically any spot.
Right.
Not
It's
any
hard.
spot,
It's
but like
hard to say what the other options were. I know the cards in hand were few. it's possible they didn't have anything else going on, but even in the scenario in which it's Wyman or nothing, I think nothing is actually better there.
Yeah, I can see that. Or you're supposed to start cashing your characters in,
Hmm.
like which they didn't do.
Right.
All right, so take a quick break here. I gotta stop the stream anyway to parse the video into a separate thing. And then I'll call you back in like I don't know 20 minutes at like 4:50, and then we can just do a quick we'll do a quick deck rundown before we head into the match.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, cool.